The Hungry Donor does not have a political affiliation. He is not political. Being political suggests either conservative or liberal, and both of those labels assume that the world is black or white, that one can only be one of the two. I don't believe in that. In fact, the Hungry Donor believes that the most independent, free thinking, and intelligent individuals don't label themselves. They, in fact, shun those labels and focus only on facts and truths. There is nothing wrong, of course, with theory. There's nothing wrong with healthy debate. But when we talk about what is right and what is wrong, if there even is such a thing, we must not talk about politics. In this piece, the Hungry Donor talks about a relevant and topical issue: the role of the individual in society. Yes, this theory dictates the way I think about how I vote and what future I hope for the society of this country. However, this is not a political piece, it's a political theory piece. I believe in individual freedom across the board. The individual should have the freedom to live his or her life how he or she sees fit. The individual should have the freedom to pursue the occupation he or she wants. The individual should be able to eat what he or she wants. The individual should be able to say, believe, and think whatever he or she wants. Whatever. Let me make that clear. To say, believe, and think whatever he or she wants. If that speech, belief, or thought is racist, sexist, or hateful, that person should be able to have those words, beliefs, or thoughts. It is absolutely no one's place to impede the free speech, free belief, or free thought of an individual. If we think that an individual's thoughts or ideas or beliefs are hateful or ignorant, then it is our freedom to think so, and maybe even say so. However, it is not our freedom to stop that person from thinking his or her thoughts, or making his or her thoughts known. Insofar as a person's words, beliefs, and thoughts do not actually harm another, then that person should be free to continue with those words, beliefs, or thoughts, even though they may be hateful. This is the key. Unlike certain inhabitants of the political spectrum, I don't believe that disagreeing with my ideas or my thoughts is grounds for censorship. I expect my ideas and thoughts to have as much a right to live in the theoretical conversation as the exact opposite ideas. This is one of the tenets of my belief system. If a business owner, as an individual, makes a comment regarding her dislike for a particular type of person, as an individual, she should be able to express those feelings. As far as her personal views do not affect the way her business treats individuals, then in no circumstance should she be fired. For example, say a woman says she hates men. However, her business continues to serve men and treat male customers the same as female customers. In this instance, all that has occurred is that an individual with independent thoughts has expressed her thoughts. This is no crime. This is not even cause for civil action. In the event we start penalizing thoughts and ideas via criminal or civil charges, or by disciplinary action, we have lost the battle to maintain our freedom of speech and expression. This is where the liberal regressive will stand and shout his or her disagreement with my theory. This so-called political correctness is all the regressive wants. The idea that someone has a belief system that disagrees with the regressive is enough to send the regressive in rage. The movement to suppress thoughts or words or ideas that do not adhere to the liberal regressive narrative is in direct violation of our freedoms, not just our freedom of free speech, but our inherent freedoms as individuals with individual and independent thoughts. Over the last decade, The regressive has invented terms for those persons that disagree with the ideology, the ists and phobes. Show a feminist statistical data from the CDC and Department of Justice that illustrates how females commit more domestic abuse than males, and you're a sexist. Comment on how the recent string of unfortunate and tragic police shootings isn't black and white, no pun intended, and that both the police and black community have to take responsibility, sit back and try to correct the issue together, and you're labeled a racist. More recently, vote for Donald Trump and you're a sexist, a homophobe, a racist, Islamophobe, transphobe, ignorant, misogynist. Never mind your reason for doing so, it is sexist, homophobic, racist, ignorant per se, on its face. The greatest irony of all is the fact that the liberal movement is called progressive, as if progress involved censorship, echo chambers, and groupthink. At no point in time in the history of civilization have those things ever been amounting to progress. The regressive would vilify opposing points of view and ideas in order to silence them, while at the same time putting coexist bumper stickers on their car. The regressive would demand that you observe her rights while at the same time treading on yours. Only the regressive's ideas matter. Only their thoughts and voices may be expressed. All others must be silenced. It is perfectly fine to be hateful as long as your hate fits in with the regressive narrative. As a regressive, when you speak your mind, you prevent anyone from giving you a retort. As a regressive, when someone else speaks their mind, you move to silence them. The perfect medium for this is the internet, wherein a regressive can report, block, or ban any comments or individuals that respond to their ignorant and hateful comments, while at the same time reporting comments that disagree with their own ideas. And the people which express those ideas will be banned from the internet. Silenced. Censored. This is antithesis to the freedom of the individual. This is in direct opposition to the idea that all people have the right to have independent thoughts from one another. The recent rioting at the elections by regressives shows how incapable of comprehending and accepting the fact that people are allowed to have their own opinions, and that those opinions may often be in disagreement with their own. This stems from the regressive being psychologically, psychosocially dysfunctional. But that is a topic for a different day. As a person who values independent thought, and as someone that understands that it is this individual thought process that truly brings about progress and new ideas, it is more than disheartening to see our freedom slowly start to disappear in the name of progress. As a society, we must oppose this movement of censorship and thought oppression. We must accept that others will have different beliefs and opinions. We do not have to embrace those ideas ourselves, but we have to accept differences, no matter how different from our own, lest we end up in a world where authoritarian regressives rule.